Evening. We'll start off. Peterborough Energy Action is a topic to discuss, a proposed town meeting resolution regarding 100% renewable energy. That's why Dori's here. So just hand the floor over to Dori for a presentation.
Great, thank you, Tyler.
Welcome.
I am going to share my screen and let me know if you can see it.
Yep.
Okay. So can everybody see this slide?
Yes.
Yes, excellent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Great. Okay, so my name is Dori Drachman, as Tyler said, and I am working with a group called Peterborough Energy Action. And we are here tonight to lay out why and how we think Peterborough is ready for 100%. We are Peterborough Energy Action, which is a local grassroots organization, and we are committed to helping the town make a commitment to transitioning to 100% renewable energy. We are associated with a national campaign called Ready for 100 that is part of the Sierra Club. And so we are definitely part of a network of folks working on this. What are we seeking to do? We want to pass a warrant article this spring that will commit Peterborough to work toward 100% transitioning to 100% clean energy for all of our residents and businesses. Specifically, we are going to set goals for clean electricity by 2030 and clean heat and transportation by 2050. And to help us reach those goals, we are asking to create an energy plan by the end of 2022 that will help us down the path to get to those goals. The energy plan is an important part of how this works, and it is also something that others have done, and so we don't need to be reinventing the wheel for that. Are we going to be alone in this? The answer is absolutely not. Right now, 1 in 4 Americans lives in a location that is already committed to this goal. So 1/4 of the population has this goal, and we will be joining 165 towns, cities, and states who have this commitment. Out of those 165 municipalities, 5 of them are already in New Hampshire. So you've got Hanover, Plainfield, and Cornish. Concord, and most recently Keene passed a 100% renewable resolution. And we are working with all of them. And in particular, we are working closely with Keene. We know a lot of the same folks, and they have been very helpful so far in giving us any of their resources. So I expect that will continue as we move forward. We are just at the beginning of this, but we are really committed to doing it now. And why? Why do we need to do it now? And it's because scientists agree that climate change is real and it's human activity that's causing it. They also say that we need to stay under a 1.5 degree Celsius rise in temperature in order to avert the most severe impacts of climate change. And in order to do that, we have to reduce our emissions by half by 2030, and they have to be down to 0 by 2050. The longer we wait, the more damage will be done and the more expensive it will be to adapt. So there's just no time to lose. Oops, let me go back there. What I'm going to go through next is just how some of these, how climate change is going to be impacting the area and New Hampshire in general. The quick and dirty is that the climate of New Hampshire is becoming much more and will increasingly become more like the climate of North Carolina. And this is within the next decade or two that is expected. Specifically, it's getting hotter and more humid. Right now, we have somewhere between 6 and 10 days each year where the heat index is above 90 degrees. That's a combination of heat and humidity. So it's between 6 and 10 days right now. That is expected to grow in the next couple of decades to 30 to 60 days a year. So that's 1 to 2 months of the year above 90 degrees heat index. And we are also expected to have between 10 and 20 days a year of a heat index above 100 degrees. So it is getting significantly warmer. We are also going to be getting more rain and have been getting more rain, but these rain events are going to be more in extreme storms and hurricanes. And so there will also be more flooding that comes with this increased rain. Ironically, in addition to more rain and flooding, we're also going to be having more drought conditions, because in between these intense events will be much drier conditions. And so we will also be experiencing more drought like we had this summer. With drought comes increased risk of wildfires like we've seen out west. Historically, wildfires have been a part of New Hampshire's ecology, but it could increase significantly if the drought conditions increase as well. And then finally, we are going to be, as we have already seen, getting warmer winters with less snow. This all will have an impact on our economy. And so the main sectors that will be impacted by global warming are tourism and agriculture, which are both important sectors in Peterborough. So we're going to have shorter ski seasons, and we will be seeing resorts close because we're just not going to have enough snow. We're going to have more drab foliage because we no longer will have the conditions or the trees that make for these really beautiful, vibrant colors. Specifically, we will soon, in the next few decades, be losing the sugar maple. And so that also impacts maple sugaring. It is declining now because sugar maples are stressed and producing less sugar in their sap. So it takes a lot more sap to produce a gallon of maple syrup. And those will continue to decline until we no longer will have a maple sugar industry. And then finally, you would think that with a longer growing season, you would think that because of warming weather, we would have a longer growing season, and we do. But because the longer growing season will be punctuated by flooding and drought, we will have lower crop yields. So while we'll have a longer growing season, we will not have as much produce or goods to sell or eat. How is it going to impact our health, both our health and the health of wildlife? Well, we are going to see some die-offs of wildlife. We already are with moose. They have taken a huge hit in population. Their population has plummeted by about 90% in the last decade. And that's mainly because, excuse me, ticks are surviving the winters now. It's not been cold enough for ticks to die off. And so you can see in that inset, what that is actually a section of fur on a moose. And you can see all of the ticks that are just chocker block in there. And so the moose are actually dying by, thousands of tick bites. And we are unlikely to see a rebound in moose. There will be other animals that also will be dying off, or at least changing their residence. They will be leaving New Hampshire and in search of more compatible climates like ermine and snowshoe hare. Ticks, as we know, don't only impact moose, they also impact humans. And so we are seeing an increase in Lyme disease, and that will continue. And also we're seeing an increase in other tick-borne diseases that we hadn't seen. In addition to disease vectors, climate change is also going to be impacting our health primarily through heat-related illness, things like heat stress, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. These are actually some of the most dangerous impacts of climate change on the human body. We are not meant to be able to thrive in such hot weather with such high humidity rates. We just can't. We can't then sweat to lower our core temperature. So that is a big threat for our health. So this is a really big deal, and these are really dire situations. And at the same time, our actions really matter. In fact, they matter more now than they probably have. We can still avoid the most severe outcomes, but we need to act now. We don't have any more time. As I said previously, scientists are saying we need to have our emission rates by 2030. So that's in 10 years. We also can't be relying on individual action to do this. To do it at the scale necessary to reduce our emissions by 50%, we can't do it individually. We have to be doing it collectively. And so we need to be acting as a community to cut these carbon emissions. Peterborough is a prime place to be pursuing this because, as everybody in this virtual room knows, Peterborough has been a leader in municipal carbon reduction for decades. While the solar array is kind of our poster child and is the most photogenic of the things that the town has done, there are numerous others. And this is just a partial list of the accomplishments that the town has had in reducing our carbon emissions. Things like the green purchasing policy and the no idling policy. We have wood pellet boilers in most of our municipal buildings. We have just completed an LED streetlight conversion. And we have, with the help of the voters and the select board, come out a couple of times in favor of action for reducing our carbon footprint. I want to highlight one of these bullet points in particular, and that is the Monadnock Buying Collaborative. And I want to highlight it for a number of reasons. So first of all, for those of you who don't know what it is something that actually Rodney started, I don't remember the year, but started way back in the day. And it was a very innovative idea of collaborating with other municipalities and school systems to collectively buy on the wholesale market, to buy electricity and using the collective load as an opportunity to do some bulk purchasing and therefore get some reduction in the price of our electricity. But importantly, it also allows them, because it's still going on and thriving, it allows them to choose where we get our electricity from and the source of that electricity. And so for a number of years now, through the buying collaborative, we have gotten most of our municipal electricity from renewable energy. And there's no end of that sentence, but it's a really huge accomplishment. What that is leading toward is actually a broadening of that concept. There is a new law that is called community power that basically allows for this type of setup that we are very familiar with and comfortable with to be done on a full town level, that allows for the town to purchase collectively the electricity for all of its residents and all of its businesses. And so it is now able to be realized on a much broader level. The Peterborough Energy Committee, not to be confused with Peterborough Energy Action, will be asking to present on community power in the coming months because we see it as such an important tool, a real game changer actually in the effort to reduce our emissions. The other reason why it is so important is that for the first time, at least in the state of New Hampshire, it really allows folks who can't afford solar panels to be able to have 100% renewable electricity. You don't need to have a very high income. It is open to people of all incomes. And so because Peterborough Energy Action is really committed to having this be a just transition to 100% renewable, we don't want to be leaving anybody behind. This part of community power is a really important tool for us as we pursue this. So given this incredible history over the last decades of Peterborough's energy reducing actions, what is the next logical step for us? What's the next right step for us? Well, we believe that it's 100% renewable energy. We really do believe that Peterborough is ready for 100%. And we are really looking forward to talking with you more. We want to hear from you. We have started to reach out to some of the select board members and staff to talk about your ideas, your suggestions, your concerns about this resolution. And we will continue to reach out to others as we move forward in this public part of our campaign. We also want to hear from residents, as many residents as possible. And in order to do that, we are going to be setting up a series of community dialogues. And our first one will be at the end of January on the 28th. But we will definitely have more dates to sign up for. You can go to our website, peterboroughenergyaction.org, and find out more about the campaign and to register for community dialogues. And so we really look forward to partnering with as many folks in the town to help make this happen. And I just want to leave you with a quote that really has summarized why I am doing this and why so many of us are doing this. And that is, what will today's kids say about us if we give up now when we still have the opportunity to act? Because while we will be experiencing these impacts, it's them that will be feeling it the worst. And we owe it to them to do this. So thank you for listening, and I am happy to take any questions if there is time for that in the meeting.
Great, thank you, Dori. That was a great presentation, full of important information, and exciting to hear the work that's been done so far. Anybody have any questions for Dori? Anyone?
I had some early on, but she started to answer them toward the end. So I don't have a question, but I would really give a big personal thanks, Dori, to doing such a service as this. And I hope that in the education part that this presentation, as difficult as it may be to hear, is an important message that as many people, not only here, but all over need to see, so that we don't continue to get into these groups of people that are deniers of climate change. So thank you so much for this. It was a great community service, I think, to present this to us the way you did.
Dori, if you could just take your screen off of, or stop sharing your screen, that would put us back into the, there you go. Great. Thank you. Anyone else? No? No questions? Yeah, great start. I know I did sit down with Dori a while back and was excited to hear that you had a group together, or you guys were going to charge ahead and do some research and see where this could go. And that is the way to go at town meetings, see what the voters say. And I think you have enough time to educate people, or get the word out that this could be really beneficial for people. I do personally choose the option to whether I actually get all renewable or wind energy on my Eversource bill, but I'm paying for that aspect or the credits or that sort of thing. And if I'm not actually getting the actual wind, at least I'm making that statement that that's what I want my energy to come from. So hopefully we'll get there someday.
Oh, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and just your comments, Tyler, and Ed's are exactly why we feel that Peterborough is really ready for this, because the leadership in the town has shown that you are embracing this. So thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you more.